Welcome to the Unchurching podcast.
There's just so much more.
Welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for joining us once again. Trust you're gaining some incredibly awesome insights. Trust that your journey of awakening is going extremely well. And what I mean by extremely well is not necessarily extremely easy. It's not always easy, but keep going, because this is it. You are awake, and you are waking up from everything that you once were held captive by. And that is a truly beautiful thing worth celebrating. And we're all on this journey collectively together. Last week was epic. We started on this topic of cults and such, and broke a lot of stuff down. This week we're just as excited because there's a lot of answers this week. It's going to be really good and just help you reclaim some freedom, some faith, and a healthy sense of belonging.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to get stuck into this. Like, last week was great. It gave us a lot of awareness. We spoke about like how control hides inside systems that look spiritual good or even loving. But I think recognizing the pattern like we did last week is only step one. This week is really about the important stuff and what comes next after that awareness. Awareness is always first. Awareness is always key. So how do we heal? How do we now build trust? And how do we find belonging without losing ourselves again, which is, I think, an essential part. And that is what we're going to be diving into this week. It's just, we want to leave control-based systems behind. It doesn't mean rejecting faith in this. It just means that we're going to redefine it, redefine what freedom looks like, redefine how we move in this way that sometimes can feel overwhelming, because sometimes freedom is a little overwhelming when you haven't experienced it in an authentic way.
Yeah, and there's a lot to deal with because you're going through the journey of freedom, but you're also being faced with all of these traumatic things from your past, and you're having to deal through that. And then it's kind of like it's not like a single track lane, right? It's not like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm awakening, boom, straight shot, There's all these little side rabbit trails off that you have to deal with along the way. And if you could picture it like a tree planting good roots, yes, it's going down, but there's all these roots that need to be healthy. And so there's a little trauma here that you got to fix up. There's a little trauma there you got to fix up. And then this comes to light. And then your ego pops up again. And then you don't have to stress about it. It's nothing that has some end goal for you to achieve. It's more just us wanting to encourage you, saying it's okay if it's a bit messy. It's all right. Yeah. That is kind of how it is. But you're undoing so much mess from the past, and that's often why it is messy and why it feels like that. So there's a purpose in this. We are on a journey. We are in a purpose of freedom, of discovering the real you, of awakening from the systems and actually living in the space that you came here to live in as a soul, that you came here to enjoy this life.
It's so cool.
And be free of these weird controls that we put on you and these weird beliefs. And so again, I'll just emphasize, like, this rhetoric is not about anti-church. We're not bashing on the church. We are more pro-freedom of spirituality than anti-church, if you want to draw some sort of parallel. But you don't have to reject everything you once loved. Only the fear that came with it. Only the control that came with it. And recognize that system that you lived under, that kept you captive, keeps others captive, including the people that were probably keeping you captive are also captive because it's such an ingrained system for so long. And so we're not, oh me, oh my in this. We are just, hey, check this out. This is kind of stuffed up, and we probably shouldn't do that anymore.
It's true. It's true. And I think like a good thing to do is also just kind of define what we mean when we say freedom, right? Because freedom, I think, is different to everybody. And so it isn't rebellion, unless you see rebellion in like the awakened way where it's like not being part of the system. But in the greater scheme of things, it's not rebellion. It's not this attitude of like, I don't give a fuck anymore about anyone or anything. It's actually taking on more responsibility, this freedom, in a great way. So it's choosing like awareness over obedience, right? Or curiosity over certainty, or connection over conformity. So there's still all these choices we get to make, but there is still this responsibility we hold in this freedom, because real freedom isn't really about doing whatever you want. That would there'd be no purpose to that.
Right.
It's really just
That's anarchy.
That's anarchy.
Which
that's
I tend
true.
to lean to sometimes. Maybe anarchy would be easier, a lot easier.
Oh, I don't know if I want to partake. I'll just go sit in the woods somewhere. So real freedom, I don't think it's about like doing whatever you want as much as it is about being connected enough to truth that you can say no to what isn't love or what doesn't feel authentic to who you are becoming, right? And so the undertone still, it's amazing. I spoke about this a little bit at some point, that the circle still has come back around, and I still follow the way of Jesus in a sense of the moral responsibility he carried in how he treated people and loved people to a whole nother level. And so I think that's the kind of freedom we're speaking about in this, is like that responsible kind of freedom that wants to see positive change in everything and everyone, and truly does feel love and connection and unity consciousness with everything and everyone.
That's interesting. When you mentioned Jesus, we were just saying the other day how that's all come back around. And
Yes.
I'm reading about Jesus in a new light. I felt drawn to this book, and you are as well. And it's just like, it's so amazing, because the freedom that the church tells you Jesus offers you is actually no freedom at all.
No.
It's a facade. But when you start to see Jesus as a conscious teacher,
Yeah.
you start to understand what Jesus was actually saying. It's a lot of the stuff we're saying, actually.
Yeah.
It's free. It is freedom. It's freedom to be an autonomous self. It's freedom to manage your life, to manage your journey, to discover you, discover
Yes.
this life that you've been given. And so it's a true freedom that comes.
Yeah, and in saying that, I think it's when that need to belong no longer costs you your peace. Peace is such a big part of this. We spoke also about peace, and I spoke about peace and understanding last week. But it's really when something doesn't cost you your peace, that is freedom. And peace is actually not what comes from you. Peace is not what comes from like you deciding this brings you peace or not. Peace is only connected to the will of God, to source, to being. So it's when it truly is for the all, that is when peace comes in, and that is when belonging will never cost you that. It will only bring you freedom.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned freedom, and if I think about it, within the church structure, freedom used to scare me.
Oh, yeah?
It used to scare me. Like, freedom was almost like, I don't know, it was almost like that sense of people who are free, do whatever they want, and they lose their way, and the devil gets them.
Interesting.
Freedom within Christ, freedom within the confines of the church, freedom within the structure that they were telling you, which actually, when you think about it, is no freedom at all.
No,
That was how freedom was given, that you're free in this paradigm. This is your freedom. That's like taking an animal,
weird.
putting them in a caged area and saying, well, you're completely free. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You have to live in that caged area. That is your freedom within that confine. And if you go out of that confine, you might get run over in the road.
Oof.
It's just like, it's not freedom at all. The whole point of the human existence is risk, really.
True, actually.
And that is freedom. You need to cross the road. You need to take the chance.
That's true.
That's where
How
you
are ever
discover
gonna
yourself.
know?
That's where you discover life. That's where you feel alive. But these paradigms that give you this facade of safety, and let's be honest, it's a facade. You're not safe.
Yeah.
You're not safe. I can't say that my life was better when I was following the paradigms of the church.
No,
I
like
can't
in
say that I
safety way,
felt
no.
safer. I can't say that I was less confused or had more direction.
Yeah.
No, I was part of a system,
Yeah.
but I wasn't free. I wasn't free. And so that freedom, that idea of being free actually used to scare me because it was equated to disobedience.
Sure.
And now that I see it differently, it's not. It's actually a space where love and freedom of choice can coexist.
That's so good.
And love is not keeping somebody in a small little cage and trying to convince them that they're free.
Oof. Yeah, that's so great. I think in finding this freedom, I feel like understanding what healthy systems actually look like is so helpful and key, because it also helps you just identify things and move you more towards freedom, understanding that it's not a scary place to be in. And so I think if we look at it as with the red flags or green flags, it's helpful because it's like a little checkbox as well when you go through it. And so it's really knowing that to heal, we also have to know what healthy belonging feels like. It's the biggest part of it. How do you know healthy belonging if you've only ever been in a place that is not healthy belonging, right?
I made it sound like there was some big epiphany that hit me.
I know.
But it was. I was like, yeah, of course.
It was very
And then afterwards
dramatic.
I was like, oh, of course. I mean, how would you know if you don't know?
Yes.
It's like, how would you know what a good relationship is if you've never been in one?
That's true. It's the same thing. That's pretty traumatic. But yeah, it's exactly the same thing. And so I think like a red flag is knowing that the leadership demands loyalty, right? That's a red flag. If you're not loyal to me, then, you don't belong here. Where I think a green flag would be something like leadership that invites accountability, or given responsibility. Like, hey, you're accountable for this. This is your journey. As a friend or a mentor, I'm going to lead you, but you're accountable, right? Which is a cool way to look at it.
Your own responsibility, your own autonomy.
Yes, which is so freeing. That makes me feel way more free than the other one.
It takes a mature leader. That actually, it takes not a mature leader. I actually don't like that word because we had mature leaders in the church. It takes an awakened leader. I don't even know if leader is the right word.
No.
It just takes an awakened
awareness,
partner, a mentor, friend, whatever to give you the freedom to be that, to be free in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another red flag is this fear of leaving, which we've been there. I've had fear of leaving for more than one thing, not just church, but I think a freedom to come and go without punishment. Like just, hey, if you want to come to this, come. If you don't, you don't. Like either way, you're not judged or have to feel like you're punished for it.
Yeah, I kind of always felt jealous of people that were that free.
It's true.
But then the rhetoric around was always like, oh, they're not committed. They're not in.
Well, they'd never been given the time of day either, which really used to bug me, is because, we pour into the people that were there every week or showing up, which makes sense because you see them more. But generally the ones that are not consistent are probably the ones that are struggling and need a little extra love and kindness. And
that was the view, but generally they were the ones that were still enjoying an element of their life outside of the structure.
So. I guess so, yeah. So I guess another red flag is we have the only truth, which is an obvious one.
Yeah.
Exclusivity. I think exclusivity in anything really is a little dangerous. A great way, and I think I mentioned this last week, one of my new favorite things about this journey is being able to say, I think I could be wrong in this. Let's see what we can learn together. Let's have a healthy conversation about it. That's kind of a huge green flag and what a healthy system or community should look like, for sure.
Yeah, and generally you both don't come to an absolute together. Generally you both learn that you both still have something to learn in it.
It's
and
so
that you both know less. That's what all the great thinkers always came to. The more I learn, the less I know.
And they loved sitting in those conversations and diving into things. That was our biggest belief about America, is that Americans can agree to disagree.
They used to be able to, yeah.
Well, that's what from the outside before we moved here, we truly were like, man, America, land of the free, where people can agree to disagree and still stay friends.
Yeah.
And then we came in 2016.
Yeah.
Till now. And that
vanished.
seems to have vanished. Oh,
Yeah.
so sad, but it's true. Man. Another red flag is the secrecy and the hierarchy. Like that's a big deal. Like not being able to talk to anyone about anything. We got to keep it secret. And then, of course, like down the ladder, you get to be involved in that secrecy or not, I guess. But a huge green flag for me in a healthy community would really look like transparency and a shared voice. Like we're just transparent about everything. Nothing needs to be hid from anyone. And and understanding that your voice is also safe to be shared. No matter where, there's no hierarchy.
Thinking about these things you're listing, I'm just like, it's all such a big shift.
It is, but it's all shifting towards really good stuff.
No, for sure.
Really
Absolutely.
is. And the crazy thing as well about this in these systems is that a red flag within the church would look like conditional love, even when we're preaching unconditional.
Yeah.
When we should be talking about unconditional love. A big red flag is conditional love in anything, right? I will love you if. But I think if you have unconditional regard for everyone or no expectation of how anyone should show up, you just hold space for them however.
Right.
It's unconditional. If you're suffering, like, it's okay. I'm here for you. I will regard you as human and regard you as someone I love, no matter what.
It's incredible to me. We've said it in, I don't know, it's probably come up in most of our episodes, is just that unconditional love that the church is branded, and even salvation as this unconditional thing. But when you start breaking it down, there's just so many conditions, so many. Yeah,
it's crazy. Another red flag to look for would be emotional manipulation, obviously.
Yep.
We spoke about that last week as well. I think the biggest green flag in community and healthy systems will look like emotional safety and having choice to do whatever you want.
Right.
Even if it's maybe not right, but you have the choice to do it. Well, right in view of anyone else. The whole purpose here of being in healthy community and in healthy system is that we have choice, because that is emotionally safe if I have a choice.
Yeah, that's sovereignty, right? That's you are in control of your life, in control of your decisions, and responsible for your own decisions.
That's true.
And,
yeah.
You know, in relationship, if you'd like my advice about it, I would happily, lovingly give it to you.
Lovely.
But I'm not going to emotionally manipulate you to do it the way that I believe you should do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Even emotional suggestion falls in there as well. I'll suggest it in an emotional way so that hopefully you change your ways to do it.
Or, faith by work, faith by hints.
Faith by hints, yeah, exactly.
Discipleship by hints. Yeah.
Another big red flag that I've come across so much is shame-based correction. Like correcting you. And you know when people come to you and be like, hey, I'm just bringing you some correction in love. And then they shame you into being corrected. Dude, I don't know how we aren't more messed up than we are, to be honest.
Or maybe we are, we just don't know it yet. But yeah, that's true. It's also like we've taken so-and-so off leadership because they fell with this sin or that, and it's like, we don't want to like shame them, but also we are actually shaming them.
And we're going to announce it on a Sunday to all the people who might not even know them. We're going to make an announcement.
Shame-based correction, dude.
That we have got this under control.
Why? Because they made us look bad.
They
made us look bad, so now we're going to shame them so that they can be corrected.
Flag.
What did Jesus say? Put them out of the church.
True.
Guys. Oh, the Bible. Problems.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so a green flag here would be, I think it would look more restorative. Like, let's bring you along in this journey. Let's love you harder. Let's pull you closer in. Let's restore you back to remembering who you actually are, even though you made this mistake. And then giving
and let's remember that we've all
feedback.
Done stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a huge green flag of what a healthy system looks like. Restorative. Don't let me even get started on the prison system or detention at school. But this is what we need to be looking at to create these healthy systems, And so
It's hard though, because even the word correction, like,
Yeah.
the shame-based thing is one thing, but what are you correcting people from? What are you correcting people for? Now, I get these there's laws, there's rules, there's things like that to keep society safe, all that. That's a different thing altogether. Most of these conversations are not that. Most of these conversations are just something that your brand of leadership didn't like you doing. Mm-hmm. Or an interpretation at best of the Bible according to your denomination. Or according to there are so many variables when it comes to correction, particularly in church and in these movements, that when we're speaking about cultish behavior, it becomes a weaponized tool for controlling people.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess the best thing is, if you have ever wondered whether a community you're in is healthy or not, I think one of the telltale signs of this would be humility, not hype. Hype can sometimes come across as being fun, but a lot of times hype is of the ego. Look for like humility. And I guess like healthy spirituality doesn't even need to control people to keep them. If you think about it that way, like to keep someone in a healthy spiritual environment, you actually just have to allow the freedom to kind of reveal whether they truly belong there or not. It makes so much more sense. It's such a more organic way of doing it. So here's the freedom. Feel whether you belong or not. I don't have to control you to keep you.
And that's up to them. If they feel they belong there, they'll belong there.
100%.
If they don't feel they belong there, then they're free to belong somewhere else, because that will be best for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so understanding the awareness around that, that's kind of like the red flag, green flags, that's building awareness. But we come to a point where like awareness is only step one. Awareness can't be all that it is. So you're aware of it, cool, what now? So I think awareness is the start, and then I guess like healing takes repatterning to be able to move into like the next step of this. So the after effects of leaving control systems.
Right. Yeah, and this is important because I have met people, I know people who are like, oh yeah, awakening. Yeah, I'm awakened. But they've never dealt with things. They've never repatterned their behavior. They've never gone back to trauma to heal from things. And awakening can just become another word like being saved. Like, true. I'm saved.
Yeah.
I'm awakened. There is a difference between awakening and enlightenment. Enlightenment is the journey. Mm-hmm. But the awakening process in itself requires a journey in and of its own. Mm-hmm. There's an awakening that when you're facing traumas from the past, part of healing that trauma is helping you awaken. What does that mean? It means that you're awakening from the systems that you were held captive to. It means that you're awakening from the behaviors that were driven by your ego, or by your belief systems in others, or allowing them to rule your life. And so without repatterning, then yes, awakening can just stay a word. And what happens then is quite dangerous, because you end up part of a culture of awakened people. And that culture can't sustain you. That culture can buy crystals. It can have mushroom ceremonies. It can even have amazing spiritual experiences. But as you and I have been speaking about this over the last few days, spiritual experiences alone cannot sustain you.
No.
They are not the goal. Mm-hmm. Well, you say the work, but I mean, work is just such a muddied word. You have to take the journey. You have to be on the journey. You have to enjoy that growth and discovering who you are and discovering what life really is, because you should be asking yourself all the time, am I just part of another culture? Because, if we abbreviate culture, you end up with cult once again.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's amazing. This repatterning, for me, there were like these after effects that happened. So, and it should happen. I think it will happen if you've left controlling systems. There's these after effects. One of the biggest things that I found myself doing a lot of was almost like over apologizing, or again, like fearing authority figures, like even coming into like groups of people. You always know kind of who more of an authority in a group is. And so myself wanted to immediately fear that kind of figure.
Right.
And
because that's how you were patterned before.
Yes, 100%, because you can't make the authority figure mad or disappointed or, you know. And I think another thing as well that I experienced was confusing, because you're going to meet a lot of people who are at peace with who they are, right, on this journey, which is really nice, because I don't think I truly ever, I don't know how many people I actually met within religion that were truly at peace, pure peace. And so what happens is, for me, a after effect was that it seemed like passivity in people, like not caring or don't really, not giving me, not the attention, but the space or it is attention, because it's actually peace, but you can confuse it for passivity in someone and being like, why are they so passive?
No, it's true. It's
in
true.
This conversation? No, they're just at freaking peace.
That's right. They're free within themselves. They're just being themselves there. But we were used to people getting hold of you because we have to help them. We have to disciple them.
Yeah.
We have to control them.
Yeah.
We have to this. We have to. It's just like this hands-on thing all the time instead of letting you just be yourself. It's no wonder that, you know, when people leave certain like movements that have been restrictive or controlling, that it's easy for them to distrust like all new communities.
For sure.
Like it's hard for them to find a trust in those spaces because the expectation is almost to be treated how you were before. And it's so inbred in you, you don't even realize that's your expectation. No. And things that are out of the norm of people trying to control you feel wrong. They feel off. But they actually can be natural and peaceful and normal and freeing for you and the other person. Yeah,
it can be, and it is. The reality as well in this is that after leaving these systems of control, like your nervous system actually also needs time to realize that you're safe. And I think for you, this has been the journey. Like your nervous system had to totally 100% recalibrate to realize that you're actually safe, and not just from church, but from past things that have been prevalent in your life. Nervous system needs time to catch up and reset, and understanding that curiosity won't get you punished anymore is part of it. And so, yeah,
it's very true, because I lived that space. I was always the one who was like questioning things, and the thing I questioned the most was when our behavior in a movement didn't line up with what we were saying. That's the thing that was my absolute pet peeve.
Yes.
It just felt so heretical, and being part of it made me feel heretical. And so I was always very upset when, I would be like, but we preach this, but we do that. And that curiosity and that question of putting those things forward, that I would put forward everywhere from just being a member in a church to being a leader in a church or even of a church. And when I put those forward, you're met with this disdain. Yeah. You're met with this wall of like, you can't be curious about our practices. And that is behavioral control. Yeah. And that is cultish. That is cultish behavior, to be controlling somebody's behavior, particularly when you're saying you're one thing and you're doing opposite behavior.
Yeah, and it builds mistrust in you. And so it's really hard coming out of those systems to feel like you can trust anyone again, because once you've seen it and you realize you've been deceived, then you're like, oh my gosh, I trusted that person. Now who can I trust? And so I think there's just small steps in this. And I know I had to do a few of these small steps just coming out of this and repatterning and seeing these after effects that were taking hold of me outside of the church. Again, I'm going to repeat it again. Practice saying, I don't know, without shame. It feels so good when you can actually say to someone, look them in the eyes and be like, I don't know. And I'm okay with that. It's such a good step to take.
Yeah, it was one of the most freeing things for me, honestly. I've said it before on an episode, but you see, the other side of me wanting to point out that we're doing something wrong was my ego. wanting to perpetually force what I believed was right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was authentic, and sometimes it was ego.
Yeah.
And so actually being in that space, having the freedom to say, look, guys, this isn't right, but I don't know what's right. I don't know what we should be doing, but this doesn't feel right. And not feeling shame about the not knowing. Just because you're disagreeing doesn't mean you have to have the answer.
That's true. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I haven't had to disagree much, or I haven't allowed myself even. That's still a tricky one for me, but I understand why now, because you just pointed it out. Because I feel like to disagree, I need to
have
give
the answer.
like a backup plan.
You don't have to have the answer to disagree.
Yeah.
You have to have the freedom to say, I don't know. But that doesn't seem right.
Ooh, okay. I can disagree now. That's helpful. That's very helpful.
Oh, I've opened a freaking floodgate.
You know I'm going to disagree with everything now.
When you disagree, I know this might be hard for some people, but get to a point where you're able to disagree out loud. Like you said, finding your voice of disagreement out loud. Out loud is important because a lot of people disagree internally and then harbor that, and it'll burn within them, and it'll make them feel excluded from that community because they just keep that disagreement inside. But giving yourself a voice of going, actually, I don't agree with that. And there are ways that you can say it that are very helpful. The one that I have found that I think is really helpful is I'll go, I don't know how to agree with that. So it's not confrontational, but you're giving yourself a voice out loud.
Yeah.
Don't just keep it quiet and harbor it internally.
Yeah, that's really good. That's helpful for me because it's also helpful to like spend time with people who don't need you to agree with them, to let them actually love you. And I feel like that's really hard to find up front. Like I don't think you would know that going into something, but when you do find the people who don't need you to agree with them, oh man, it's actually really
And make
free.
sure that you don't need everybody to agree with you, I guess.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, your self-worth should not be wrapped up in their agreement.
No, not at all. Yeah, and in all of this, it's just like this healing coming out of this process, it's not instant. There's no ways that this happens overnight. It is a slow process. It is sticking to it and putting yourself in situations where you can, recalibrate, reintegrate, do all the things you need to do. It's a slow introduction to freedom that you get. I wish there was a switch that you could flip and all of a sudden that drops away and you suddenly feel exactly who you're meant to be. But you just have to learn to trust again and test it. Test it in situations. Give yourself to the process. Be open. This whole openness and closeness thing, like if your heart is close to it, even when you're testing things, it's going to be very difficult to do. There is a form of openness you do have to have when trying to test this that really helps to just stay authentic in who you are and have authentic experiences, because when you're open, other people tend to be open as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It is such a journey. It's a big deal. You're talking about like finding your true autonomy here. You're talking about really stepping into, and we'll do a whole episode on being a sovereign being, and it's not, it is a journey. It's something, there's a few things along the way that have to click in you to find this freedom.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just turn this over and all of a sudden you're doing these things and then you feel it. It's a journey, and just give yourself the space for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And in this, because I know you and I have both been very intentional about how we've done our practices and reclaimed our autonomy. I think just being mindful of what we came out of, knowing, okay, we need to know how we're going to do this moving forward. We really have some cool practices to share with you today, which are a little more practical and can help you reclaim your autonomy if you're feeling a little lost right now and not knowing what to do. And so the first one that really stuck out to me was, I'll call it the 24-hour rule. Because if love is real and if connection is real that you have found, it will not expire overnight. There's no way. And so if it does, that's a sure sign that you need to question that connection or relationship or whatever it was and see why you had yourself in that scenario in the first place, I guess.
So let me understand. So what you're saying is like a scenario would be if you're in a community, somebody does something that you don't understand or agree with, or you have a disagreement or whatever, it's easy to think, oh, well, that love is gone. That relationship's done.
Yeah, or if
is that the kind of thing? And so
yes.
It's like, but I actually need to understand, well, if this is real love, this is a good test. It's not just going to disappear.
No. It's like the scene with Monica and Chandler when they have their first fight. And Chandler's like, well, I guess that's it. No, we're done. And Monica's like, what? Are you crazy? Like, you're in a relationship. Right. We disagree. We have fights, but it's not over. We keep moving forward. And so that's the rule. If you're in a healthy community with people that love you, they're not just going to
I mean, I've been guilty of that. I've definitely been on the side of just cutting people off at times. For sure.
That's from trauma and like that hard. That's a healing journey. It's a defense mechanism so that you don't have to deal with possible pain and more trauma working through it. It's easier to just cut it off and move on than to.
Yeah, and that's part of recovering your autonomy as well.
100%.
See, you think that you're autonomous because you get to do whatever you like. That's not true. A lot of the time you're acting according to what your trauma is telling you to act like.
100%.
So autonomous is not just autonomy from other people and the control of other people. It's often the autonomy from your own traumas.
Yeah, wow. That's true. Man, this life is complicated. It's
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why it's a journey. So, okay, so my healing practice to reclaiming your autonomy is to triangulate truth.
Well, that's good.
Like, truth doesn't hide. It welcomes comparison. So it opens conversation. It's not a matter of like black or white. This is true.
Ooh.
I'm right. You're wrong. It actually opens up comparison where it's like, oh, but hang on. Like, I see it this way. You see it that way. You're triangulating truth. There might be more of you involved.
Yes, but there's a third point. So that's actually great. It's not black or white. So it's not this or that. A triangle has 3 points. And so triangulating I'm
learning so much.
Yeah, this is how I just saw it. So triangulating it is it's not this or that. There might be a middle ground.
Yes,
there might be a truth that neither of us have yet discovered. And if we don't have the conversation around it, because it has to be my way or your way, we might not find the true truth because we haven't been open to a gray area or something that we may not even have conceptualized at this point.
Which is the most likely, probably.
Which is the most likely option, yes.
Okay,
that's amazing. I love that. Yeah. I think for me, restoring a relationship with my own inner voice was very important. I found when I put my focus on my own internal self-talk that it was actually quite critical of myself. And I think this had been trained this way. Obviously, as a dancer, you just constantly criticizing yourself and your perfectionism comes in, and then you get into a schooling system where everything's criticized and it's all like based on how well you do. And then you get into religion where everything is criticized as a sin or holy. And so I think understanding that the voice of control outside of me was urgent and fearful, and not carrying that voice internally as well to like double down on it was very imperative. And knowing that my internal voice had to become loving, calm, and patient in order for me to heal from all the outside systems that had caused this perfectionism or caused this critical self-talk within me.
So good, like calm and patient and loving to yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then what happens, it flows over to others as well. You actually become calm, loving, and patient towards people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely helped. I found that in my healing journey in curbing frustration with my body, to actually have my inner voice encourage my body. You're doing well, body. You're healing well. You're intelligent. You know how to fix this. You're doing great. I know it's hard. I'm here for you. These sort of conversations, these inner voice conversations where you are, restoring, like you say, restoring the relationship with your own inner voice.
That's amazing. I've seen you do that.
It's very true. I don't
You
feel
just
like,
said that to me.
yeah, I don't feel like I had much of an inner voice that was encouraging when I was in church.
No. Oh, no.
It always kind of was pointing out what was wrong, what was
Critical.
missing, what was sinful. So it's actually a massive change, changing your inner dialogue from
It's huge.
coming out of religious movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really does shape how you do everything. What's happening inside is how everything will happen outside of you.
True.
Yeah.
Number next, I said this in the last episode, but building safe curiosity. Curiosity is the one that I own because apparently my name means curious.
Does it really?
Apparently.
I want my name to mean curious.
It also means little stone or something in Scotland. I don't know. Who knows? I'm a little curious stone. So,
Pebble butt.
this understanding that curiosity is not rebellion, but that curiosity is sacred. Just think about those words going together.
I love
Curiosity is sacred. It is sacred to search. It is sacred to be curious. You have been put here in this incredible, diverse space, in this incredibly diverse life, in this crazy body that does crazy shit that we're not even aware of. And being curious about those things is a divine journey. It's how you use your mind through curiosity to love the divine journey, to love the divine. It's
beautiful.
It's really, it is a deeply spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Wow. Oh, man. And it's crazy that that's the thing that gets killed in like most systems.
Yeah. First. Because it leads to freedom and you can't control free people.
Dang, this is crazy. Yeah. Yep. Another big thing I had to do as well was actually redefine what belonging was, because you can really overcomplicate it. And I know I spoke a little bit about it last time as well. Like when you understand unity consciousness and you understand that we're all connected, there's already a belonging that is there that doesn't even need to be defined. But if you need a definition for belonging, I think the easiest way to gauge this is that you belong anywhere that you feel like you can be honest and be authentic and true to who you are.
Yes.
So,
True.
I mean, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that, honestly.
True.
Yeah.
It's true, where you can be authentic and honest. That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are 5 really good points. Really great healing practices. Reclaiming your own autonomy in those spaces. And then there's some private practices that I think are really great as well. And some of these are really dear to me. Just 3 for you. One is pause before reacting to authority. Like, this is something that I have had to practice over and over and over again, because the defensive nature in me told me that I was under attack whenever I came under correction.
Yeah.
And correction is often good and helpful if it's done the right way and if it's done out of love. But I would just lash out immediately. So pause before you react to authority. In fact, pausing in any situation where you feel your ego has been stirred is going to help you. Mm-hmm. Even when Rachelle will call me out on things, the biggest thing that's helped our growth, our relationship, and finding peace within myself is to take that moment before reacting.
Take a breath.
Giving it space, pausing before reacting.
Yeah,
and so it's not just to authority, but certainly in when we're dealing with when cultish behavior has been measured out against you in that form of control, you can see the next person who's actually trying to help you, who might be an authority in your life, as the aggressor. And they might not be. There might not be. So a little bit of benefit of the doubt and just pausing before reacting.
That's
and then
good.
feel what things feel like in your body.
True.
You know, when you're making those choices, where is the tension in your body? That's often a flag. Like, where are you feeling that? Are you feeling light and free?
Peace is a good
Are you
gauge
feeling
for in your
peace?
body. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it calm? Are you feeling heard? Are you feeling seen? These are things that you feel in your body. And you feel it through feeling closed or feeling open.
Yeah.
You know? So feel in your body. And often that can be such a positive marker for you, because when you're feeling good in your body, it probably means you're being accepted for the authentic you.
Yeah, and what it's also doing when you are actually being aware of how you feel is you're building trust with your intuition again, especially if you felt like your intuition was dumbed or dimmed down in these systems.
Right.
Understanding that, okay, let me feel how this feels, and acting upon it too. Like, if you're in a safe environment, I did this one day because in the church there was space for me to kind of use my intuition, prophetic gifting, and kind of play and be curious with it. But then when I stepped outside of it, or when it started being shut down within the church, I stopped doing that. And so I wasn't really like pushing into those spaces. And so one day I was meditating and I sat down and I thought, you know what, I'm going to test my intuition. And I knew I had a safe group of friends. And so I was like, I'm going to sit here and be open to receiving insight and wisdom and like prophetic insight as to what my friends are going through, and texting them and sharing it with them, because I know it's safe to do that again. And so I did that. I would just focus on one of them and a word would drop in and I would see what it felt like, and I would text them and be like, hey, I was just meditating and I felt this drop in for me. And I did it with like 3 or 4 of them. And it was so good to just be able to feel what my body felt like and understand how I'm moving again and my intuition is moving, and just, you get back into it. Get back into trusting yourself and your body.
And what did that do for you? Did their responses make you feel safe? Did it fix parts? What was the rest of the experience for you like?
Well, I think a good thing that I did before doing it was know that there was no expectation from anyone to respond in any way that was going to affect me. And this has been something I've been trying to learn as well, like that if I text someone something just out of the blue, like, hey, I've been thinking about you, you really mean so much to me, whatever, I'm not texting them to get a response back to make me feel a certain way, because that's when disappointment creeps in. And so before the experience, I was open to them not even responding and being okay with it, just knowing like how I felt and that I had reacted to what I was feeling in a loving way. That was the journey. But in essence, like, these are really cool people and all 4 of them responded in some way. And whether it sat perfectly for them or didn't sit perfectly for them, they were all very grateful and loving and thankful that I actually took the time to send it to them. And so, it just reiterated that I was in a community that was safe and I belonged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's epic. Yeah, there's these little steps that are going to require you to be brave along the way and test your new community and see what responses you get. And to be absolutely honest with you, sometimes you're going to get good responses and sometimes you're not going to get good responses. And along that, you will have the autonomous decision to make as to if you want to stay in that community or not. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm. And that community might change over time and you'll have another decision. That's life. Yeah. That's life. The expectation and the hope that something is permanent and you're going to live in 10 seasons of Friends, the show, is not real.
I want it.
It's not real. It might be that, but what I'm saying is the expectation is not real.
No, you're right.
The hope is not real. So give you the third of the grounding practice I gave you: pausing before reacting to authority, feeling your body when making choices. And the last one I want to give you that's a good little checkpoint is ask yourself if you're making that choice from fear or from freedom.
Good.
Are you making that choice from fear or freedom? So if something happened to you, I'll give you a practical example. If something happened to you in a group, there's a conversation, didn't go your way, maybe somebody said something to you or whatever, you decide to leave that group. Mm-hmm. You decide, I'm not going to the next get together. Is that decision from fear or from freedom?
Yeah.
Is that because you have the freedom to not be there and you're exercising that? Or is it because you have fear that these people are going to hurt you or manipulate you?
Yeah. Wow.
Ask yourself those things, and what is going to happen is it's going to reveal to you, I hate to tell you, either traumas that need to be repaired from the past or broken parts of you, or communities or areas that you should be in or should not be in.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that. And so now moving through these things, we kind of started with awareness and know that we couldn't stay there. And then we moved to like how to reclaim your autonomy in this. And I think after reclaiming really comes rebuilding. Like, what does faith look to me now? And I don't think this is something that you need a definition for. I don't think there's a conclusion that you have to come to, because a lot of people asked this of me. So like, what do you believe now? And that's
it's kind of the most common question, right? It's like, oh, so now what do you? Oh, so do you still believe in Jesus?
Yes.
People want this like
certainty.
See, when people are still in the bakery, they want the cookie cutter answer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's good.
So yes. Like, do you still believe in Jesus? Well, yes, but not the way you do.
Yes, and that's like, yeah, I know it's hard.
But you're also not trying to convince anybody.
I know.
So it's like, how do you?
Yes.
And they don't seem ready. So, okay, well, I don't know.
I know it's hard because you have to rebuild your faith, and trying not to rebuild it based on a certain system of now new beliefs is actually really hard when that's all you've been taught how to be and how to do it. And so I think understanding that faith outside of control isn't a system, right? We're not building a new system. All it means is really now we have relationship and awareness about stuff. So I'm not building a new system of beliefs. I have relationship with things. I have relationship even with understandings. And then I have awareness about certain new things. There's no conclusive like this is what I believe anymore.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the worst things you could do is just replace one system with another.
Yes.
And I think that is what people do, and that's where they get stuck in the culture. They replace religion, going to church on Sundays, with gathering around buying crystals and going to farmer's market on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And they just replace one with the other, but they don't actually take the journey where you're talking about just bust the whole thing open, just realize that there's full awareness and openness now.
Yeah, I think it's because people want to still be certain about something. So even when you move into like a new faith or a new belief system, you still want to feel certain that you're on the right track. But certainty is not what we're searching for, even though the world tells you that you need to be certain. It's really that finding peace in mystery. The mysticism of this journey like has to just become something you become really comfortable with, stepping outside of it and again, not building new beliefs that bring you certainty.
It's amazing because the certainty that your previous system was supposed to bring you didn't bring you certainty at all.
No, you're right.
It was a facade of certainty.
Is anything certain though? Is certainty even a thing? Can't be. Nothing is certain.
Well, that's exact. That I mean, how do you even answer that, right? I think greater minds than ours have struggled with that. That's why.
Really interesting. Yeah.
It's a journey. I guess the only certainty you can have is in your own autonomy.
100%. I guess. I don't know. No, but that changes all the time too. You learn new things about yourself, and so you have to just understand everything is fluid, everything is in motion, nothing. It's like everything on this planet, everything is in motion, vibration, unstable, and sometimes instability creates really beautiful things.
That's the journey, that's life, right? Our expectation is for certainty and stability.
Yeah, of course.
But expectations are not real.
No.
Expectations are in the future. They're not now in the present. So I guess the only certainties that remain, folks, are death and taxes.
That's so bleak.
That's a saying.
I don't even know what to... Oh, is it really? You always have these sayings that I've never said.
Yeah, it is a saying. And at the very least, it's a line from the movie Meet Joe Black.
Is it really? Wow. Okay. Well, that went completely over the top of my head.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's
so
okay.
in this rebuilding of faith is also realizing that you're no longer believing someone else's truth. Because all this time we kind of have been believing someone else's truth, right? And so taking responsibility again for living yours and discovering what yours is a great way to rebuild your faith. Because what is your faith in as well? Because before, your faith would have been in Jesus. What does that even mean? You know, like,
Well, I don't even know. I think a lot of people's faith is just in their pastor on the stage on a Sunday.
making them feel good.
It doesn't matter what he's doing. That's where their faith lies.
Yeah. And so now I'm living yours. Everyone's truth and how they're going to be living their own sovereignty can only be built out and discovered by themselves. So there is no other.
My brain is frying right now. My brain is frying.
Okay.
These big topics.
I know, but it's true. This is what you need to give yourself to, an understanding if you want to build your faith again and not just drift away into not believing anything at all and getting pulled back into another system.
No, listen, I'd much rather be dealing with big topics. I'd rather have this motivation of thought, understanding that this is bigger than myself, than some simple answer about, oh, go to the front and pray a prayer and you're in.
I know.
It's just, but at the end of the day, we can think about these things. The reality is that it's the simplicity where you find peace.
Of course. Yeah. It is a simplicity. It's good to have kind of just, I guess, the motivation as to how to get there. It's really hard to navigate after you've built this new autonomy to just fall into like, what is my faith now? It's a big question to answer. And just knowing, I think one of the big things as well that I've spoken about before is just knowing that you don't have to throw everything away to discover what the new thing is. Not everything has to go. It's just, you just have to release the fear, basically, that it was packaged with. And then discover where you go from there.
Right. I mean, I think we overcomplicated it a little bit in our conversation by discovering what is truth, veritas, what is veritas. But the point you made was that faith used to mean believing someone else's truth. Now it means living mine. And so you're right. You're not throwing away the essence of having faith.
Mm-mm.
You're just recognizing that the package that was somebody else's package, you don't want someone else's package, is now in your own hands to explore and discover on your own journey. It's very freeing.
It is. It's just rediscovering God, source, being, all of his beautiful stuff beyond dogma, if you want an even simpler way to put it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. For me, faith just really came more about like trust, just trusting that
you have to.
This is a life that I'm here to enjoy and live and journey through, and that there is a God, that there is all of this, trusting that I don't know and that I don't need to know, and that did away with doctrine, but rather believing in divine intelligence, that there is a divine intelligence. I don't need to understand God. I don't need the theology of it, and that trust, that faith wasn't found in answers, but it's found in presence. There's much more to be found in sitting, being present, and just feeling present as a living being here than studying up the answers and going, well, this is how it is.
Yeah, and everyone needs to feel the same way. Yeah.
It's presence. Yeah.
100%. You're so right. Yeah. And so I think,
thank you.
We can, we should wrap this up, just understanding that this is a 2-part kind of conversation we've had, and it started with like, what is a cult? And now we've kind of restructured on how to move from that into this journey of where you're going to. I think in essence and reflection back on all of it, just to simplify it really, it's like understanding that control thrives in fear is one of the things we spoke about. Knowing that freedom is going to grow in your awareness. Step 1. Knowing that you don't need to trade systems out. This is not what we're doing. We're not trading one system for another, and that everything you're building now is actually coming from within you, which is really beautiful because it makes it very unique and very personal and very beautiful. And the goal here is now not to not become part of community or to avoid community altogether because of where you've come from. It's actually just to cultivate a more conscious community where people are doing things in a more conscious way.
I think that's a big one because that is always a concern of mine, that people leave church, they leave that sort of community, and they give up. They just don't seek new friendships. They don't seek new community.
We almost did.
Just because, just because you have been fed the incorrect one doesn't mean that the correct one, just because you've been fed the manipulated, inauthentic one doesn't mean that there isn't the authentic one for you still to experience and enjoy.
Yeah.
And so definitely seek and cultivate, if you must, that conscious community. Cultivate means that you might be the one. You might be the ones who are like, hey, it seems like Joe and Sarah are on a journey as well. Let's invite them around.
Well,
and
that's so true.
Let's have a real conversation. Let's cultivate it here,
Well, that's exactly how this came about for us. And I believe the universe and God will bring the right people into your field when you are ready for it. And it's exactly how this happened for us. I noticed that one of my friends was posting a little bit more about the same stuff I was and was also going through a similar journey. And so the two of us just linked up to have a coffee together. That's just where this started. That's how it cultivated and sparked. And then she was like, hey, I have this bunch of friends who are also on this journey too. Why don't you come and meet them? And now look at us 6 months down the line, and I couldn't have done all of this. This has really been divinely led and set up. And so definitely the divine is so intentional and so willing for you to be in beautiful community that is built around consciousness. And so trust it and believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's not a once-off thing. Our whole group of friends cultivates it.
Yeah.
Our whole group of friends continually cultivates conscious community.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. You continually doing. You continually giving each other the freedoms that you all deserve. You're continually being authentic with each other. You're making sure you're getting together and doing conscious conversation together and these sort of things, and just being normal with each other. And so to wrap it up, if cults are built on obedience, then awakening is built on awareness.
For sure.
We have done our best over these 2 episodes to help you become aware of cultish behavior that might have controlled you, that might have swayed you, that might have manipulated the way you think, the way you see things, even the way that you act now and how you approach relationships and such. But now that you are aware of these things, it is up to you to awaken from them. It is up to you not to be obedient anymore, but to awaken from the awareness that we provided to you. When you reclaim your voice, your curiosity, and your peace, you've already stepped into your divine freedom.
That's so good.
What a great word, divine freedom.
Yeah, in all of this, just remember, you haven't lost God. You've actually just remembered love.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you found it valuable, please share it with someone who might need it too.
Remember, if you have left church or feeling you need someone to process some of these thoughts with, you can book a 15-minute discovery call on our website. You can also discover more of our mentorship programs and how I can help you through the void, bridging from what was to what is.
Visit unchurchingpodcast.com and follow us on Instagram @unchurchingpodcast. Till next time.
Cheers. Ciao.
Goodbye.